Okay guys, today we're going to be talking about rational numbers and the coordinate plane. We've already talked about the coordinate plane with integers, which are just whole numbers that are positive and negative and zero. Rational numbers include positive whole numbers and negative whole numbers and zero, but they also include fractions and decimals and percents. And I'm going to show you guys how to find those on the coordinate plane today. Alright, so the first thing I want you guys to kind of watch me do is we're going to write in the missing coordinates. This is how you write coordinates, don't forget that, guys. Write the missing coordinates for point A and point B. And before you do that, before you just start throwing random numbers out there, you need to look at your axes on the coordinate plane. Look at your x-axis. Where they have the ordered pairs, for instance, the 1, 0, the 1 is 2 spaces away from the origin. The reason why that is because the person who created this graph, they skipped every 2 lines. So that way it's a little bit bigger, so it's easier to plot halfway points. Okay, so they did blunt 1, blunt 2, and the same thing up here. Blunt 1, blunt 2. Okay? So whenever you are creating your graph, this is a really good idea to use so it's easier to plot halves, quarters, etc. Okay? So we're finding the coordinates of A first. Again, every time we're plotting coordinates on a coordinate plane, we need to start at the origin. So it looks like we passed the negative 1 when we're finding A, but we don't go all the way to 2. We go halfway between 1 and 2. So we know that negative 1 is going to be our whole number because we've gotten to negative 1. But then we've gotten almost to negative 2. And according to our graph, every 2 spaces is 1 whole. So our denominator is going to be 2. Our numerator, we've gone 1 of the 2 spaces. So our numerator is going to be 1. Okay? So the x-coordinate is going to be negative 1.5. Let's figure out the y-coordinate. We know it's going to be positive because it's going up on our coordinate plane. So started at origin. We went past the 1, but we did not go to the 2. So it's going to be 1 as our whole number. And then we go halfway between 1 and 2. And that gets us at 1.5. Again, the difference is this one is positive, the other one's negative, and this is for our y-coordinate instead of our x-coordinate. Okay? So if we were finding point A, we would end up with negative 1.5 and positive 1.5. So let's find B. It's kind of the same situation. Look at the quadrant that B is in. We know that that's the 4th quadrant, and that is going to be positive x because it's on the right, and negative y. Alright, so let's go ahead and find our x-coordinate. We do not hit a whole number, but we are hitting 1 of the 2 spaces, so it's 1/2. Alright, for our denominator, for our y-coordinate, where we do go past the negative 1, but we do not pass the negative 2. We get halfway between 1 and 2. Okay? So the coordinates for B would be 1/2 and negative 1/2. 1 and 1/2. Alright? This might be confusing right now, but at the end of the lesson you'll totally get it. Okay? Alright, I want you to copy this into your notebook. The coordinate plane shows point P as negative 1.5 and 3/4. Look at their coordinate planes. You can see the same kind of graph they did on the other one. They skipped 2 lines and then put down a line. Skip 2 and then put down 2. So I want you to create this graph on your notebook. If you need to borrow some graph paper from a teacher, that's fine, or from a neighbor, that's fine. But you're copying down the situation. The coordinate plane shows point P and copy it on the graph and label each of the coordinates. So the grid line represents x as -1.5. We've done that one. But we haven't done this one. The y equals 3/4, which is halfway between the grid line for half and 1. Our halfway point is about right here, where this green line is, okay? But then we go halfway again between our halfway point and our 1. So when you're thinking about it, when you're making a recipe, half of 1/2. Well, we know that 1/2 times 1/2 equals 1/4. Alright, and so we have 1/4 of the way, which is right here. And then we have 1/2, so we gotta add those two together to figure out what that one is. Okay? Well, we know that when we're adding two fractions, we have to find the common denominator. So 1/4 and 1/2. 2 and 4 can both go into 4, so 4 is going to stay the same, and 2 is going to turn into 4. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 1 is 4. So you're going to end up with 1/4 plus 2/4, which should give you 3/4. Okay? And that's where they got this guy from. Y is 3/4 of the way all the way to 1, but it's not quite past the 1. So when you're looking at this and you see that you have a number that's not going all the way to a whole number, if you get a whole number in your answer, you might want to look at your math one more time. Alright. Think about it. Use fractions or mixed numbers to write the ordered pair for each point on the grid. Identify the quadrants for each point. So I want you and your neighbor to look over each of these points on this grid right here. And I need you to figure out which quadrant is which. If you don't remember, we took notes on this a couple of weeks ago, and we copied down a beautiful graph in our notebooks to figure out which quadrant is which, because guess what? It's going to be a lot of work. So I want you to see if you can figure it out, and then when you figure it out, check with the neighbor and see if they understand it as well. If you guys get different answers, you might want to talk through how you got your answer and show, if you have your notes, show them what you got. Alright, what ordered pair names point V? So, again, we're going to go ahead and do this one together. I'm going to create my ordered pair. And I see that it's in quadrant 3. And we know that quadrant 3 is going to be negative, negative. So I have a negative x coordinate and a negative y coordinate. Alright? Now, every time you start at your origin, we don't have a whole number in our answer. We do know that we're going past the 1/2 point. So we have 1/2 plus half of the half. We just did that earlier. Just 1/4. And that will give us 3/4. That's negative. So our x coordinate is going to be negative 3/4. Our y coordinate is also going to be negative because it's going down the y-axis from the origin. So we're passing the halfway, and it looks like we're going halfway again. So it looks like negative 3/4. Negative 3/4 is going to be our answer for this problem. Okay? If you remember or memorize which quadrant is which, it will really help you out a lot with knowing which is positive and negative. Okay? Copy this into your notebook. So what you're going to do is you're going to apply each of these points. We're going to do the first 3 together, and then you're going to do the last 2 by yourself. Okay? So, point A. We have 1.5 and 4. Both of those coordinates are positive, so it's going to be up here in quadrant 1, which is the positive coordinate. Look at the plane, though. We can see that they're not skipping boxes. They're going by ones for each box. Okay? So we don't have to worry about skipping boxes, but we will have to figure out about where 1/2 is. So let's go ahead and do point A. we have 1.5 for our x-coordinate. So we pass the 1, and then we got to go about halfway between 1 and 2, which is about right there. Okay? From that spot that we end up on, we're going to go up 4 spaces because we have a positive 4. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces up. Our point A is located right here. Alright? So A is done. Let's find B. We have a negative, negative. That's going to be in quadrant 3. Okay? We have -2 for our x value. So we need to find our 2. Then we have -2.3. We know that when we have a decimal, it's written as, or read as, -2 and 30/10. So it can be written like this. That's a little simpler. So on our y-axis, we're going to go down 2, because it says we're going down 2. And then we're going to go down 3/10. 3 out of 10 pieces of pizza is almost half, but not quite. So it's going to be about right here. And that's going to end up there. Oh, wait, no, come on. Excuse me. Let's fix that. There we go. Alright, so point B is going to be located about right here. B's done. Now the last one we're going to do together is point C. We have -1.7 and a positive 1.5. Well, we know that negative positive is located in quadrant 2 because we have a negative x and a positive y. Now -1 7/10 can also be written like this. Alright, if you have 10 pieces of pizza and you've eaten 7, you've eaten over halfway. So we're going to go ahead and find the -1, and we're going to go over halfway to 2, so about right there. Alright, now we're going to go up 1.5. So from there we're going to go up a whole 1, and then half a whole 1. We end up about right here at point C. Okay, let's draw invisible lines to each of your axes. Alright? You're going to find point D and E on your own. If you get stuck, please ask a teacher or a neighbor to help you out. Okay? Alright, tell your neighbor the answer to check and see if they understand it too. Which point is located at 2 and -7/10? And we know that positive, negative, think about which quadrant that's going to be located in. Okay? No, don't do that. I do want you to copy this into your notebook. So, copy this down and then plot the points using the different color pencil. So, if you're reflecting the point 2, 3, and 1 and 1/3 over the x-axis. When a point is reflected across the x-axis, the sign of the y-coordinate changes. So if you're reflecting over your x-axis, which means you're basically jumping over the x-axis to the opposite side. The only coordinate that changes is the y. It's going to turn negative. Oops. And 1/3. That's a 1, by the way, not a b. Okay? So what I want you to do is copy down this information, and as you copy it down, I want you to plot where each of the points are going to be on your graph. So create a graph either beside or below. That's up to you, depending on how your handwriting is or how your style is. And then when you finish, check with the teacher to see if you got it correct. Okay? Pause the video and go ahead and copy this information down. Okay, so for your exit ticket today, what I want you to do is figure out what the reflection of -2.5 and +2 and 7/500 is across the x-axis. So you're going to plot this point and then flip it across the x-axis and then find the coordinates for that point. Good luck. I know you can do it. If you get stuck, please ask. Have a great day.